Yo! Yesterday, Liverpool beat Bournemouth in their first home game of the 23-24 Premier League season. Before I mention anything to do with the game, I feel compelled to talk about the standard of officiating so far in the Premier League this season. I really don't understand how that was a red card for Alexis McAllister. I don't understand how Manchester United didn't get a penalty yesterday for the Romero handball. How Wolves didn't get a penalty on Monday night when Onana clattered Kaladzic. Yet Jordan Pickford was penalised for a very similar kind of challenge on Ollie Watkins today. And speaking of Everton, I also have no idea how Michael Keane's strike last week against Fulham wasn't allowed to stand either. There are other examples as well, and we're only 19 games in to the new season. I don't care if they want the on-field referee to have more control or if they want the VAR officials to intervene a little bit more. All that we ask is that between the three of them, they can make the right fucking decision. As I did in my previous video, I'm going to start with the team selection. I was somewhat surprised to see CODY GAKPO playing in midfield again, although if there is a fixture in which to experiment with him playing in this role, it probably is a home fixture against Bournemouth. Diogo Jota was once again preferred to Darwin Núñez, but other than that, there weren't any real surprises with the team selection. It was an awful start to the game, in particular from Trent Alexander-Arnold, who cost us a goal and was a tad fortunate not to cost us two. That was my initial worry with Trent when people were clamouring to have him in this midfield. There's a huge difference between having the ball with the whole game in front of you and receiving the ball on the half turn under pressure in the middle of the park. Trent did hobble off on the 76th minute with what looked like an ankle injury, so hopefully it's nothing too serious as we do not really have a natural replacement for him. Aside from Trent, I think the back five did quite well today. The issues are very much in front of them, but I can't blame Szoboszlai, McAllister or GAKPO for how we're set up. Szoboszlai was outstanding yesterday. His range of passing, his speed of thought, his work rate, and he seems to have a real turn of pace. GAKPO did struggle, but he's a centre forward and in my opinion, our best one. Diogo Jota is a very good goal scorer, but his all-round game leaves a lot to be desired, and Darwin Núñez is very raw. He clearly has all the attributes required to be a top-class player, but his decision-making is why his minutes have been limited so far this season. I really don't think the manager trusts him. Diaz took his goal well and looks to be finding his rhythm again, but Mohamed Salah was very poor, I thought. His missed penalty aside, he hasn't been displaying that killer instinct for a while now, despite posting good numbers. He snatches at things all too often and he never looks convincing when he's taking on opposition fullbacks. I still think that structurally this Liverpool team have countless issues. Signing a proper midfield player will help, but it will not magically solve all of our problems and transform us into title challengers. In Jurgen Klopp's typical 4-3-3 formation, in which you have two attacking fullbacks, you really do need two box-to-box all-action midfielders either side of that six. If that means sacrificing creativity, goals and assists for industry, defensive awareness and athleticism, then so be it. I think too many people confuse these hard-working number 10s with box-to-box midfield players. There's a huge difference. If, or hopefully when, we sign a natural defensive-minded midfield player and Klopp wants to persist with the likes of Szoboszlai and GAKPO in those number 8 positions, then Andy Robertson is going to have to make way for another central defender, allowing Trent to step into midfield when we're in possession. There's a reason that Jurgen Klopp and his team decided to experiment with this last season. This would also allow the 2-8s to play more narrowly, giving you the option to play that box midfield, which at least in theory would suit the likes of Szoboszlai, McAllister and potentially CODY GAKPO. We actually looked much more comfortable with 10 men than we did with 11 because that notoriously high defensive line were forced to drop 10 yards or so. This definitely benefited the likes of Virgil van Dijk, who's clearly lost a few yards of pace. After the red card, Wataru Endo came on for CODY GAKPO to make his debut for the club. Very difficult circumstances to come on and make your debut, but he got stuck in and he kept it simple. You'd imagine that he'll make his full debut against Newcastle next week in a game in which I am really worried about. Anyway, those are my initial thoughts on the game yesterday. If you happen to come across this video, please give it a like if you liked it, and let me know what you agree or disagree with. And if you're interested in more videos like this, covering not just Liverpool games but other football related content, then please do consider hitting subscribe. Cheers.